Okay, just checking that. First of all, again, thank you for giving me your time to interview you. I know you must be a very busy man. So,
Yeah, no problem.
Professor, tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm a associate professor at the University of North Texas in Denton, in Dallas area. I teach in the philosophy and religion department. I teach courses on religion and ecology. I teach courses on great religions and other courses. I've published 2 books as well.
Nice. Nice. How many books have you written?
I've written 2 books. I'm editing a third book now, and also editing an encyclopedia of Hinduism and so on.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So, how fundamental you think religious freedom is to the country, and how does you think religion let us discover what it means to be an American, and also about ourselves?
Yeah, I think religion has been really important phenomenon for the early pilgrims who came on Mayflower and other ships from Europe, and that was one of the reasons that they came here and they could practice their religion without any persecution in the new Americas. And and starting from there and all the way till today, I think it remains an extremely important phenomenon for most of Americans, unlike many European nations. Uh, and the fact that the Constitution gave us all the freedom for religion and and many other freedoms that we have ensures that people like me who are not of the dominant faith in this country, that is Christianity, and yet people like me who have come from India and other countries in Asia and Africa and elsewhere, we come here and we have many of Hindus and Muslims and Jews and other faiths have built temples and synagogues and mosques and whatnot in Dallas area, for example, and many other parts of this nation is possible only because of the freedoms that we enjoy from our Constitution. And what some might call it as a nation that probably was inspired by some of the foundations of Christianity in the early beginning, is now one of the most diverse nations in the world. It has millions of Hindus, Jews, Muslims, and many other faiths in this nation because of all the freedoms that we enjoy. So just like my home country where I was born in India, which also has all kinds of faiths and all kinds of freedoms are possible, are given in India as well. And so I feel very fortunate to be living my life in these 2 nations that are founded on the principles of tolerance, acceptance, mutual respect, pluralism, and whatnot.
That's good. That's good. It's a very it's a very interesting thing that founding fathers, when they created the Constitution, they were seeking to accommodate everybody, not just like a certain group, which is pretty interesting, and it speaks a lot about the foundations of what America was meant to be, and what has become. So now let's go into something a little more what's the word, controversial per se. The separation of religion and politics.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard of this.
Yeah, of course.
We all heard of this in this country.
We all
and
right.
Do you think it's something that should should it be something that should be, no pun intended, set in stone, written in stone, as religion and politics, these 2 cannot mix? Or can both of them meet in the middle ground?
I think as America becomes more and more diverse, I think it's imperative that these 2 phenomena keep separate, because now there's not just one religion. There was never one religion in America, so to speak, right? Because in the northern part of America, we have more Lutherans even today, and in the southern part we have more Southern Baptist on the west on the East Coast side, on southeast, and on the southwest we have more Mormons, for example. We have now many other faiths, as I just mentioned in your previous question. So I think it's more important that we keep religion and politics separate. Otherwise, when if other religions start mixing politics and religion together, for example, what if some parts of the nation where there are people of Islamic faith, let's say they're more in demographics, for example, in Michigan, some parts of Michigan, there are more Muslims than Christians now. What if they want to make that part of America follow Sharia law, for example? That would not go well with Christians, and vice versa. So I think it's more and more important that we keep totally separate. We keep our all our institutions completely secular. But at the same time, I think we need to also recognize that we do have some parts of our society and politics that are still very heavily inspired by Christianity. For example, uh, out of all the major festivals in this nation, we have national holiday only for one festival, that is Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
America is secular democracy. Then why should we give a national holiday only for Christmas and not for Ramadan or Diwali or Chinese New Year, for example? Especially when people of Chinese, Indian, or Islamic faiths are of more in numbers. Why shouldn't we recognize those festivals, for example? That's just a question to think about. So, so things like that, I think. But overall, of course, we should keep religion and politics separate, and we should keep respecting all the faiths in equal regard. We cannot give preference to one and not to the other. Right?
Yeah, especially since America is, trying to accommodate everybody,
Yes.
and we're just a melting pot of things and
Yes.
cultures.
Yes. Yes.
It'll be kind of discriminating,
Right.
favoring one and the other. And now that you mentioned Diwali, that carries on to my next point,
Okay.
which is about the video that you sent me.
All right.
Which, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I was like, on the email, you said, "Watch this." I was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." Then I watched it, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty interesting."
Right.
Do you mind telling us what Diwali is and
Sure.
the petition you made in August of 2017, I believe it was, right?
Last year, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Diwali is like if you combine Christmas and New Year and Thanksgiving all into one day for Indian people, people of Indian origin, Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists, and Sikhs all across the world. That is Diwali for them. For Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs, Diwali is the biggest festival that that can be compared with Christmas, New Year, and Thanksgiving all combined into one festival. So it's a day for thanking the nature for its bounty. It's a day to celebrate the Hindu New Year. It's a day where all the family, extended family, it comes together and people celebrate it together. They eat, desserts and light candles across their houses and offices and so on. So it has all the festivities. Fireworks are going on across India at that time, and Hindus, wherever Hindus are, in Suriname, Trinidad, Fiji, Mauritius, Cambodia, United Kingdom, Canada, United States, wherever Hindus are in significant numbers, you can see that Hindus are celebrating in Diwali across the world now, not just within India. So in New Jersey and New York, more than 18 school districts recognize this, that they want to respect all the traditions of the students in their respective school districts. So in New York and New Jersey, there are now school calendars, there are official days marked for, of course, Christmas is already a national holiday, but also for Diwali, for the Ramadan, that is the Islamic festival, and then for Chinese New Year. So 3 additional days are added in many school districts across New York and New Jersey. So something similar we requested here in Coppell ISD also, where in Coppell ISD is a unique ISD in Dallas area, in Texas, entire Texas, where almost 50% of the students are of Asian ethnicities. So then, we don't know how many of them are Hindus, but taking a rough approximate number, probably more than 40% of the students are Hindus in Kapil ISD, right here in near Irving in Dallas area. So we requested that following the examples of New York and New Jersey school districts, something similar can be considered probably here in Kapil ISD also because of its huge number of students who are of that of those traditions. But so far they have denied our request, even though Christmas remains a national holiday, a federal holiday, and also Easter is also the day when the schools are closed in all the Dallas area school districts. They call it a bad weather day because that day for snow day. If there is no snow, then the schools are closed on the Good Friday.
Uh,
And Good Friday are already almost open secret that the schools are closed. Even though the people or students who do celebrate Diwali are more in number than students who are celebrating Good Friday, for example, and yet they have not accepted our request so far. Hopefully, they will in near future.
really hope that as well. As someone who, I was raised Catholic.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Good Friday is important festival.
yeah. To be honest, I don't remember spending a Good Friday on church. I don't remember that. Mostly just like, hey, it's Good Friday. Let's watch Jesus movies. Um,
Right.
yeah,
But the schools, right? Schools were closed for you on Good Friday.
yeah, here in Mansfield they are closed. Good Friday, not in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, the entire week is off, which is
Very
like
good.
yes, it is very good.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
So if you
I,
combine Good Friday and Christmas and New Year and Thanksgiving all into one festival, that would be Diwali for Hindus. Everything
well,
all together. Huge.
I know a couple of people that would love to celebrate something like that. Again, like Puerto Rican, we're very festive people, and yeah, just give us a beard and we'll be good no matter what.
Good.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
let's talk about
Yeah.
let's just call it a nightmare scenario. Let's
Mm.
say a bill or something is passed that pretty much makes America a completely secular nation.
Hmm.
Talking about schools,
Hmm.
jobs, how some jobs and schools are accommodating towards people of
Hmm.
faith. Talking about everything now it's completely secular.
Hmm.
What would that vision be like? And
Actually,
how would it affect us, people who
yeah.
have some beliefs?
I mean, officially, it's already completely secular nation, right? It already is.
Yeah.
Even though we do have Christmas as national holiday, but officially we are already a secular nation. So I don't know what you mean by
Oh,
completely.
oh yeah. What I mean, I should have emphasized it a little bit. Sorry, my bad.
Oh,
That it's a religion free in the sense that religion cannot be celebrated in this country.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I should have phrased it a little better in retrospect.
Okay. Uh, so what will happen to the nation? Do you mean to ask?
Oh,
What
excuse
do you
me.
mean to ask? If so, so if there is no religion in America, then what?
Like, how would that affect all of us, people who are part of a religion, who have certain beliefs, and uh, how it affect the country overall? Our ideas, our beliefs, our morals.
Mhm.
Since
No, religion, I think I mean, I'm a professor of religion, so I would say that we do need religions for different faiths and for different people. And it's like a guiding spirit. It's like a guiding lighthouse in the darkness. It definitely guides us to the right path with the commandments and so on. For example, for the Abrahamic religions and other value systems for other faiths as well. It's the traditions of religions in Asia, for example, that gave us yoga, that millions of people, even non-Hindus in America, do practice yoga. But yoga origin comes from religious traditions of India. Yoga, meditation, and Tai Chi, for example, the physical exercises that came from Chinese traditions, like Taoism. Definitely religions have they have contributed a lot in the history of humankind, and they continue to keep us on the right track. So, in the absence of religions, I think it would be a very dry and boring life. I think we do need festivals. We do need food and festivals that are all part of the religious traditions and culture in general. So I think yeah, for a better health, for better mental health, spiritual health, even physical health, for better you know intellectual enjoyments in our lives, for better value systems, and for law and order. I think we do need religions in all societies, not just in America.
Yeah, and it's kind of impressive how we are all, you know, we all have the morals, kind of like default standard in our morality.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
even. I know I have a lot of atheist friends and all that, but uh, they still indirectly, they
Yeah. Yeah.
follow uh, the Ten Commandments: don't kill and don't kill and
Yeah.
all that.
Right. Right.
And I feel like that's a testament to like what religion is and how we need, how we human beings need that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even atheists or even Marxists, they have their own scripture and their own kind of a prophet, Karl Marx, and his manifesto as their scripture. So even they tend to follow a certain like origin of their tradition and so on. So they all are guided by some value systems, right? Just the fact that religions give us better role models, somebody or someone or some book with whom or with which we can better communicate, better connect, and that inspires us, and so on. So yeah, indirectly or directly, we are already being guided by all these traditions and scriptures and prophets and whatnot. We all need some role models here. Yeah, yeah.
Especially in these times.
Yes, 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 definitely.
Although they're not as bad as back in the day, but still.
Right.
Um. So
Mm.
you you obviously are a person of faith. You practice a religion. Uh, what religion is it? Should have asked that at the start. In
Mm.
retrospect, what religion is it, and what drew you to practice
Right.
that religion?
Actually, the practice of the religion is actually a bit different in non-Abrahamic world. For example, in India or China or Japan, we don't necessarily go to a church on every Sunday or every Saturday or every Friday, or we don't need to really have a solid belief on certain scripture or a prophet or a god. It's really part of the value systems in Asia where our values, for example, my meditation may be guided by Buddhism. I will focus on my breath, in breath and out breath. That is inspired by Buddhism. I may be more practicing more mindfulness. That is also maybe inspired by Buddhism. I may be a very strict vegetarian. That is inspired by Jainism, another ancient tradition of India. I may be inspired by the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Hindu text, Hindu sacred text, and that may inspire my ethics and how I relate my duties and my family. So it's derived from several traditions, several value systems of Indian culture. For in my own case, similarly in China, people may take some parts from Confucianism, some part from Taoism, some part from Buddhism. In Japan, for example, we have statistical data to prove that 80% of people in Japan follow Shinto as well as Buddhist, both together. And same thing in China, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism all together. And India, in my own case, for example, Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism all together. So it's not really a watertight compartment that like in Abrahamic faiths, that if you're a Jew, you cannot be Muslim. If you are a Christian, you cannot be Muslim, and vice versa within the Abrahamic world. But in Asian world, it's very open and very syncretic system where people take these ideas and inspirations from several traditions. So that's how we practice. It's not that I'm only Hindu or I'm only Buddhist. That's not the case, especially in my own case. So that's my response to your
Yeah,
question.
yeah, I can relate to that in a way. Again, I was raised Catholic,
Hmm.
but I kind of dropped out of that and kind of followed my own path
Oh,
towards there. Yeah,
mhm.
so I'm not very fascinated by the politics of
Yeah,
Catholicism.
yeah, yeah. Okay, right, right.
I think we all secretly we all are
Yeah.
one way or another. But yeah, but let's talk about something
Hmm.
a little more controversial, which is there was an incident, not
Hmm.
in UTN, I think it was,
Hmm.
where it was passed a bill where people of religion, people of faith can practice their religion in the campus.
Hmm.
People of a LGBTQ community, they went in and they started doing a rally, you know,
Hmm.
and they were pretty much talking about how this bill for people of religion to practice their religion, overthrows their rights to be themselves. What I'm getting at is religious discrimination.
Hmm.
How dangerous is that? And what are your personal thoughts on
Do you know any
this?
examples of this kind? I didn't come across of any discrimination, so to speak, based on religion. Have you?
Yeah, I, I yeah, as a person who is in the internet, I have been called a couple of things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, and
Okay.
I can tell. Yeah, it's not a pretty thing, but I can take it. I'm Puerto Rican. I can take it, but this is a very serious thing. And what are your specific thoughts on this thing? And what think? Do you think this should overthrow all the goods that religion and beliefs give us spiritually, and also how it flows through our jobs, through our relationships? What are your thoughts on that?
No, discrimination in any kind, be it race or religion or caste or class or sexual orientation, right? In all its forms, discrimination is almost like a crime. It is, I think, a crime, and it's a huge example of injustice that several examples of such injustices were fought by Dr. Martin Luther King, and thanks to his fight, people like me could come to this country because after that, immigration laws were made more liberal, and people of Asia could apply and come here, for example. So discrimination, of course, is a problem, big problem. I think we still have these kind of discriminations, although thankfully I've not personally experienced such discriminations. Maybe Diwali can be taken as an example, but it's more of a change in perspective that we need to bring to uh, whoever is in power or whoever are in power. But probably even those people are not really, intentionally, they're not trying to discriminate one over the other. Hopefully not. I mean, I would like to be very positive about even in that case. But if there is a very intentional discrimination, I think it should be reported to other authorities. And there are now offices of equal opportunity offices and offices of discrimination across the campuses now. Across almost every university has a designated officer, and there is an office where we can go and report. And there will be an inquiry, and people will try to help you or anybody who has been targeted with such discriminations. Uh, so yeah, I think we all need to keep. We cannot ignore such issues. We have to definitely report and non-violently fight against these problems, just as Dr. King did and Gandhi did in my own home country in India back in those days, and Nelson Mandela did in South Africa. We all have to take inspirations and guidance from these figures, and we have to keep doing our own bit to help uh, make America even better nation that it already is. It's a great nation. There's always room to improve. We all have to work together to make it better and better.
Yeah, it's pretty important to stay optimistic, especially in this time of uh, what's
Yeah.
the word? How divisive we are in this country.
Oh, yeah, it's very bad. It both sides, I never blame one side. It's always both sides, both political parties that is are really not doing any service to us. They're all bitterly divided. Then it's very unfortunate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and also how it's just people. You look at all these incidents, and I can
Mhm.
tell you from experience. I have friends who just told me, talk to me, of terrible things. Christians have said to
Oh, wow.
people who are homosexual and all that. But in the same time, I heard of how many things homosexuals have said to Christians and all that, and it's just human nature. Just how some people, not necessarily they're bad, just that's their mindset. Not that the belief uh, is not good or we shouldn't support that belief. You
Right.
know, like the like Frank Turek once said, you shouldn't judge a religion by the misuse of that religion.
Yeah, that's a very good line. Yes. Mhm.
You
Thank you
know,
for saying that. Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
yeah,
Definitely, definitely.
yeah,
Good.
and it's important, and it's very important for us to stay positive in these times.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Well,
Definitely. We have so many positive examples that we can easily ignore the negative ones. Yeah. Right,
yeah.
right. Right.
And I feel like that's a problem also in a way. We just tend to focus on the negative
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. It's true.
Like so many people demand things, and they're claiming they live in the worst times, but actually we're way better off than back in the day
Exactly.
where people have
Exactly.
to stay alert 24/7 for their village because any second they can be raided.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Right.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Good. Thanks for sharing with us.
So yeah. But thank you actually for giving me your time. That's all I got. That's all I got for the phone back.
Sure.
That's all I got.
All the best. All the best for your project.
Oh, what happened? Speakers got.